And we're live. Guys, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Let's Talk Fishing Podcast, Wednesday edition. I'm very excited about this one. Tonight, I have a guy from Houston. His name's Bill Pennington. And Bill makes some interesting lures. The W.M Bayou. I hope you can see that. There's a lot of reflection there. All kinds of neat stuff, man. And you guys know, man, I just love soft plastic lures. Look at that. That's, and man, look at that swim bait.
That thing crushes the redfish, man, and the trout.
Bait. The redfish, okay. Yeah, I like
man.
that. But here's what I really want to talk about with Bill. How you doing tonight, Bill?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm good.
Let's talk
Just got my brisket off the fire, so I'm rock and rolling.
Ooh. Let's talk about this thing.
The Techno Frog, yeah.
Look at that thing.
So that is the first lure we came out with, and it was my partner Brian is from Michigan, and he called me up and was like, "Hey, I got this idea for this frog lure," and you immediately start thinking frog lure, you're top water, and it's like, really, the world does not need another top water frog, dude. Like, really, it doesn't.
Hollow body.
He's like, no. Yeah. He's like, no, this is totally different. So, we got to design and working on it, and came out with the Techno Frog, and it's I like to call it a twitch frog. You can fish it a bunch of different ways. Like, we have guys that fish it Texas rig, put it on a Ned head. But I fish.
So it sits there like this?
Yep. Sits straight up and down, and those feet just start doing this number, and, looks crazy. Caught some big smallmouth on it up north. And, but my favorite technique is to fish it like a twitch bait on a light twist lock hook, just like this. So, because I fish really shallow water. And so this guy's like a 3/32, I think, Gamakatsu twist lock, and it's basically weedless back there. You can see the hump of the head kind of covers it perfectly, and I just kind of texpose the hook there, and you just work it like a twitch bait, and this thing goes all over the place. And then when you stop it, it just kind of flutters down like that with a little bit of forward on it, and it just catches fish, especially this time of year when. The way I think about it is the frogs are coming out of their hibernation. They're coming up out of the muck, and they're spending a lot of time underwater, and the bass just eat it up.
So if I were to put this on you said a screw head hook.
Yeah.
That's what this thing is for right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so we made that rigging nose, and there's a lot of people that go for like the ultra realistic looking stuff, and we got some of that too. But I like to make sure that whatever it is, you can rig it however you want it. That's kind of like the most important thing from my standpoint. Is we've all seen those lures that look absolutely perfect, and you can't figure out how to rig them to make them work correctly, right? So yeah,
I had the hardest time with fucking swim. Geez, I just said that, didn't I? That's horrible. I had the hardest time with swim baits. Hey, we have our first comment from a very good friend of mine, and a guy who's been just a fantastic friend of the Let's Talk Fishing podcast, named Cajun Rob from South Texas. And man, he said, awesome frog. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thumbs up from Cajun Rob. Rob, look at this thing, man. This thing is crazy. And
these are the hooks these are the ones I personally like to use on it. They're these
so a 4/0.
Yeah, 3/32. It's the Gary Yamamoto one. So you can see the hook is the weight, is kind of further back there on the back, and that's what gives it that really flat fall and makes it really wobble. You can throw them on like a regular twist lock hook, and you'll get a little more head dive. Just kind of depends on what you want to do on any given day. If you need it heavier, you can throw it on that too.
What would happen if you were to put this on like a 3/0 EWG? That means extra wide gap.
Yeah.
You guys will know that.
It fits us perfectly, man. Like I said, and
no weight at all.
Yeah. it just then it'll just kind of flutter down just like this. The head is a little heavier than the back end, so it naturally wants to go down head first. And like I said, the little bump in the back here is perfect for like just exposing that hook right in the back of his head, and it becomes like super weedless, like not even not even getting little whispers of anything on there. It's
Boy, man,
pretty
you're
great.
getting me. Look what I'm starting to have twitches, man.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the first bait we came out with, and I mean I caught so many bass on that thing, and when I go out fishing, I always have like 3 or 4 baits that I'm working on, so I don't get to fish with it as much as I used to, and you throw that thing on and it just kills them every time. And my partner and I were talking, it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of tired of catching fish on it because we've got so many fish on it. It just works, man. Like I said, it's especially like again, I fish 3 to 4 feet of water is my primary waters that I fish in, so I like to twitch it like that. But all the guys up north, they'll drive it deep either on a Texas rig or a Ned for smallmouth and largemouth and stuff like that. So it's just a great all arounder.
Man, I cannot believe that. Sorry, I'm
I've caught a redfish on it too, by the way. So
redfish will bite. Redfish just bite, man.
Yeah, they'll bite anything, man. I think it's my dad who taught me fishing, right? He's like, the secret is not like what bait to throw at a redfish. It's to find the hungry redfish, and it doesn't matter what you throw at them at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not find the redfish and throw something at them. You can catch them on this. You can catch them on this. I've caught them on these things. But mostly it's just a shrimp and a popping cork.
Yep. That's how I grew up fishing them, man. So
let's talk about, man. Okay. First thing I want to talk about is presentation with this thing. So you have this out there. You have your underweight hook. That's what I call them, anyways. Those kind of hooks.
Yep.
And you're casting out there.
Yep. I fish it like a Zoom Super Fluke. I don't know if you fish those really. So you're just kind of
thousands of times.
I've also twist it.
Threads on them. Yeah.
Yeah. So you pop it. I like to pop it a little quick and then let it die, and it just kind of flutters down. I like to present it like it's screwed up, right? Like it's trying to get away and it's dying and it can't do it, and because that pause really gets them.
And man, look at those guys go like that, and those. See, if you've ever seen frogs, if in the water, if their legs are like that, they're failing. They're almost dead, and that triggers a predatory response in any predator. So if you're up north and this frog's going like this, and it's failing and its legs are down, and oh no, I'm dying. No, I'm not dying yet. No, I'm dying. If it's doing that, northern pike, muskies, walleyes, white bass, I can go on and on, but down south, shoe pick, largemouth bass, spotted bass, striped bass, catfish.
Works great on a buzz bait too. So I like to throw it on a buzz bait without a skirt, and you do really well.
That's what I was thinking about your swim bait I showed. Put that on the back of a spinner bait or a chatterbait.
Yeah. Did I send you one of these guys? These little guys?
No, you did not.
One of those. I did not.
That looks cool.
Let's see some. This is a free fall fry, and
look at that. That looks like a really beefy swim bait.
Yeah, so it's a different. So this is a chatterbait, and it's my go-to chatterbait trailer because it's a little bit more compact, and so you can really nail it. And the unique thing about it,
late winter, giant speckled trout. I have a couple places I can get them from the shore. We're talking 20-inch plus speckled trout are in there in mass. We use great big swim baits like that, and we just follow them down.
Yep. So this tail is unique because it's not a paddle tail. It's like a flat. Everybody tells me it looks like a guitar, but and so So what it does is, when you got your jig head on the front here, it kind of flops down, and when you jig it, it does this motion. You get this action. And if you
Wow.
straight retrieve it, it'll give you a wobble, but it's a super tight wobble. It's not like the swim bait you held up. This is a fat paddle, and it has a big, I call it a big thumper tail, right? So this thing's gonna be like wobbling and boom, 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 really kind of slow, steady beat. And the free fall fry just gives
Yeah.
it like a buzz. Like I make up my own sound effects, but it's like a zzz, when you're retrieving it. So um, that's one of my favorite. I catch a ton of bass on it, especially on the chatterbait, but that's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to fish in saltwater for specs, reds, and flounders, especially. Like flounders will chew that thing up. I'll have to send you some of those, man. I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't include those.
This thing looks like a very technical. Looks like looks like it's a very technical bait. It looks like a cross between a beaver tail and one of the crawfish trailers.
Yep, that's kind of what we're going for, and you'll notice that. So this is I call it the bottom. I don't know what's the bottom and what's the top, but it's very flat on one side and very convex on the other. So the design on that is if you hook it through the bottom part, then you have this nice round part up here to give you a nice weedless action for flipping or doing whatever in the weeds. And then if you flip it over so the round part is on the bottom and you're bringing the hook out to the top, you can actually reel it and it'll ride up on the surface of the water and be like, almost a top water basically. And depending on how fast you retrieve it, you can control your depth pretty easily there. And of course, how much weight you have on there or whatever. But again, like I fish a ton in lily pads, so I like to burn it across the tops of the lily pads and then just drop it down in the pockets and
Bring it up over the lily pad and just kind of plop it down.
Yeah, when you find the holes, the little voids in there, you just kind of stop it and it drops right down. And so it's almost like a hybrid technique between top water and a pitching and flipping, but you don't have to actually like be good at pitching and flipping. So and you can cast it way out there and hit a lot of holes. So
no, I saw this one. That's
I think I call that color Fruit Ninja because I'm terrible at naming things, but it's a watermelon red top and an orange bottom. So
my kids used to play that game.
Yeah, that's why I just decided to call it Fruit Ninja because it was two fruits. But yeah, I'm sure there's a cooler name for that.
That's an interesting, something this big and beefy. What I would do is I would cut these things off and use this for punching.
Yep, you can punch with it for sure.
It's so big and beefy, and things like this tend to get caught on the crap that you're trying to make it go through. But that's just for punching. But also, like you said, man, I would be working this through lily pads, through cypress knees, and once again, man, I fish in so shallow stuff. I would just put this on a great big hook. I'm not very technical, okay? I don't double out.
I'm not either, man.
I don't know. I just look at it. Yeah, that's the right size.
Exactly. That's how
I
you
look
should do
at
it.
this. I look at the hook. I match them. I put it in there, and I throw it out.
That's the way to do it, man.
But
don't get too technical, man.
I would just be flipping that to the cypress knees and.
Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's W.M Bayou Lures. Like you can see where I fish, and it sounds like we fish the exact same places, basically, right? It's all cypress, all lily pads, and
if you've driven from Texas to Mississippi,
yeah, cross 10 there, and the
cross 10. I fish underneath that bridge.
Oh, okay, awesome.
It's Lake Bijou, Chevrolet Spillway.
That's cool. I love driving across that bridge, and I always tell my wife, we're gonna pull over and I'm gonna go fishing in there, but I would get lost in probably 5 minutes. But it looks like a really fun spot to fish.
It is. It is. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got distracted by some family business.
No problem. My dog is like going crazy at the door. He's like scratching at the door, wants to get into my shop. So
Oh yeah,
it's
I
so
have to
funny.
get the dogs out of here because
Yeah,
one thing happens: the dog's alarm goes off and they come running in.
exactly. Makes a great podcast when you have barking dogs.
Nah, I've had to trash a couple podcasts because of that. And now since I have them live, the dogs stay in the other room.
Exactly.
Man, I am so excited about this.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, you got to take that swim bait, the fat paddle, and you got to throw that this weekend when you're going for redfish or speckled trout, man. I promise
I am
you
going
it'll
to
work
try
well
that. I'm
for
going
you.
to try that. I'm going to try this one.
Because it's you know, the unique thing about this guy is it has a big body, so it no matter where you are, you get good visibility, and that tail really thumps. So you get kind of a good combination of high visibility and a lot of water movement and a lot of thumping. So
Look
you
at
know.
you have one in here I was really interested in. I really want to show these guys. Look at that color right there. For those of you guys who live up north and fish the Great Lakes, look at this color. When he told me that his partner is from Michigan, and I looked at this color, that makes sense. This is a goby.
Yeah, that's our goby color.
When the gobies first came into the Great Lakes, everybody says doom and gloom, doom and gloom. It's the end of civilization as we know it. You're just like with the Asian carp. Oh my God, we got to spend billions on this, guys. We can't let the Asian carp in. Well, they let the zebra mussels in, and guess what? The lake's cleaned up. They let the gobies in, and guess what? Now we're getting 10-pound smallmouth bass.
Yep.
Wow, guys, get you one of these. Get you one of those like that color I just showed you. Get you one.
I'll sell you one.
I'm talking to bass fishermen. No, I'm going to take 10 packages of just that color. But yeah, because these are going to get torn up, man. Walleyes are going to grab those things. Freshwater drum are going to grab those things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
you know, Gasper goo.
That's what we call them. Good call, man. Gasper goo. I just want to put these back in the packages because I don't want to lose any of my.
Well, it's funny you called you know, and here we call them bowfin, but you guys always call them, what is it, shoe pin or
shoe pick?
Yeah, shoe pick. Yeah.
Shoe pick.
I always get confused when I'm talking to people from Louisiana. They're talking about shoe picks.
That's good eating, right? Man, you guys have crappies in these waters. Why would you want to eat a shoe pick?
No, I just want to catch one, man. That's on my bucket list. I haven't caught one yet, man. Every time I go fishing, somebody around me catches one. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here, man? Like,
they're hard to get off the hook. They have very strong mouths.
Yeah.
So you got to pry their mouth open and try to.
They look fun though, man. They look fun.
I've caught them up north up to 20 pounds. Down here they don't live that long because they get eaten.
Yeah.
But nobody eats them up north. We kill them.
Yeah.
Because
you guys eat anything down there though, man. Come on. I know you guys.
Anything that eats baby bass must be destroyed.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So what other kind of lures you guys make?
So yeah, we have some what we call the Kraken crawl, which is a big old crawl here, and like we were basically like, if you
how long is that? Is that 5-6 inches?
It's about 6 inches, yeah. And
wow, that would be the thing I would want to. That would be something else I'd want to punch with.
Yeah, no, it's a great punching bait, and
or like kind of like in Sam Rayburn in those stump fields, a Carolina rig with that thing.
Yep. And it was, kind of everybody's making big swim baits. I'm like, why don't you just make a big craw, man? Like everybody wants to eat a big crawdad. So we got that one out, and that one's pretty cool. I do really. That's my go-to flipping, especially in the summer under the pads. That's what I throw a lot. So.
Yeah, I would want to throw that in deep water in Sam Rayburn's only an hour and 20 minutes from you.
Yeah,
boy,
for sure.
Get out there on those stump fields and just barely crawl it along. Does that thing float? Does it float?
Yeah, all of our plastics kind of float by default, So they'll basically once you get a hook in them, they'll have a very, very slow sink wherever the hook is. But this guy, his tentacles will be up in the air when he's down there. So
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of that frog, man.
It's a blast to fish, man. I'm telling you, like it's one of those baits that is, when I designed it, I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool or whatever. And then I started fishing with it and it was like, wow, because you get all the erratic action that you do with, your normal twitch baits, but it's like twice as wide as a normal twitch bait. So you get a way more water movement, way more visibility. And I've had fish that I've seen, come from 20, 30 feet away, like wake over to it and hit it because, they're going to see that much further with it.
Well, they see that frog. Bigger. They see that frog and they're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, that's a tasty frog leg dinner right there. So
yeah, what the heck is that thing, man? It just, like I said, it just triggers a predatory response in them to see a frog that's dying.
Yep, absolutely. There's a great video out there, and I can never find it when I need to find it, but there's a video of this frog just swimming underwater, and this bass just comes up and sucks the whole thing right in. Big old bullfrog. So,
since I was a kid, I've been using frog. Well, I guess I don't know how to say this, but when I was a kid, man, we would take frogs and put hooks in their legs and
for sure.
You throw them out.
Yeah.
And when they would come back in, we pound sticks on the water and they'd turn around and go back out.
Yeah.
We were just mean,
It's bait, man, like hey,
yeah.
Bait.
Well, boys do stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, we do stupid stuff for sure.
That was funny. So you're quite a kayak fisherman, I understand.
Yeah, I've been kayak fishing since 2000.
Wow.
I was out in California, and I grew up fishing down here with my dad, and we always had boats. With my cousin, we had a John boat that it's funny. I tell my kids this story all the time, and I think my parents were like the worst. But my cousin and I had a John boat when we were 13, and they would just let us go out. We go night fishing out of Galveston in a John boat. No phones, no radios, no nothing. It's just like you
were out in the bay in Galveston
at
night, 13 years old, and you're still around.
Exactly, man.
You didn't die.
Like, Galveston Bay is so shallow, you can walk home.
Child Protective Services will come and take you away.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy because if something went wrong, like we were just on our own, because we had no radio, no phone, no nothing.
Yeah, we used to go out and when I was living in West Virginia, we would go out and catch snapping turtles at night in the Ohio River alone. And we'd be wading through 3 feet of mud.
Yeah.
And grab a snapping turtle and grab it by its tail and drag it in.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but I was out in California, and I had not been fishing out there because I didn't really know anybody that fished out there. I was in tech, and so there's a few people that fish in tech, but it's not kind of one of those normal things that tech guys do. So, so for my bachelor party, I chartered a salmon trip, and so we were out salmon fishing out of Moss Landing, which is kind of a famous spot there. And I'm out on this boat, and I can see the shore, and I'm like, and we're catching salmon, like really big salmon. So I'm like,
nice.
There's got to be a way that I can get out of here without a boat, because like I couldn't afford a boat. Boats down there on the West Coast are much bigger because we have big swells and stuff like that. And so. I started, I'm like, maybe I can use a kayak. So I started digging around, and I found there's about 10 other people that were doing it up there. And so I kind of started in with them and caught a lot of awesome fish and off of NorCal, rockfish and lingcod and halibut and salmon, and then started fishing for trout and bass and inshore. And they have a lot of stripers up there. So I got to catch a lot of stripers, and it was a total blast. And that kind of hooked me ever since, because like boats are fine, they're great, but I'm not a guy that's big on maintenance. And if you don't maintain a boat, you're in trouble. So
take care of them, they won't take care of you. An interesting story. I have a picture of myself with a lingcod, and I'm holding it up like this, and its head is here and its tail, but that was caught in Alaska.
Yeah.
Where everything's bigger in Alaska. everything.
Yeah, the link gods up there get nuts, and like the people in Alaska are just kind of like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like it's just a link
Oh,
cod.
they
Like,
are. Those things taste awesome. They're
yeah, no, they're
a
great.
heck of a lot more fun to fight than halibut. I've caught big halibut up to 100 pounds. And, have you ever hooked your anchor line?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like halibut are kind of like, I mean, I've caught, biggest one I caught was about 18 pounds off my kayak, and it's um it's like pulling up a doormat, and then you get it
Yeah.
close to the surface, and the whole trick is not to let its head break the surface because it goes crazy at that point. So and then you might get a couple of runs, but it's not really
No,
a
but
fight,
they
right? So
taste awesome. But yeah, the 100
yeah.
pounder, I brought it up and I was fishing with my Air Force buddy who was born and raised up there. And he kind of looks at me and smiles. And I knew it. He just took the harpoon and touched it. Ding, and it
Yep.
went, I'm like, you do that again, I'm just going to let go of your rod. So,
Yeah,
that's what he expects.
exactly.
And he's like, oh my God, you will. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I met
that
you
was
when I was 18 years old. You should know me.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that you don't want to take that run. So of course then they go crazy in your boat, but still
Yeah,
at least you have them.
he harpooned him, and then you just tie off the harpoon to a cleat,
Yeah,
let it
you're
bleed
done.
out, and let it bleed out. Then you bring it in when it's dead, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
100 pounder can cause some damage.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like yeah, absolutely. So we didn't like to do that because we got great white sharks out there in
Yes,
California.
you do.
So
You do have great white sharks, and
it's kind of like, yeah, let's put it in the bag, maybe. Yeah, okay.
they're getting more and more common, from what I hear.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
It's on my bucket list just to see when I do not want to catch one.
I have seen one once. It was certainly a pucker factor, and then I'm pretty sure my buddy and I, Joel, had an encounter with one, even though we didn't see it. It was the craziest thing. We were out fishing the spot out of Half Moon Bay, and we're out there just fishing. Birds are chirping, things are happening, and then all of a sudden, everything just goes dead quiet. And he is about 30 yards away from me, and we look at each other at the same time, and he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." And like, I this is not a ghost story. Like, the hair on the back of my neck literally stood up, and I'm fishing in 80 feet of water, and then all of a sudden, my fish finder goes to 10 feet, and then drops back down to 80, and I'm all like, "Dude, I think something's here." He's like, "I think something's here too." And then 30 seconds later, his fish finder does the same thing, and we're like, "I think we should go in." Like, yeah, let's go in. So
I was surf casting in southern Alpha Grand Isle, and I saw, I don't know if it was a white tip or a bull shark, but it was about 7 feet long. It just swam right by me, and
yeah,
nothing you can do. I can't outrun that thing. I'm just standing there in the water.
no. Yeah, you're
But,
toast either way.
You just stand there.
Yep.
If I ran, I would have triggered that predatory response, and so stood there. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
don't eat people, so if you don't act like meat, you're not going to be meat.
yeah, it's the same thing with gators. Like where I fish. I mean, there's some big gators in the
Oh yeah, a
place
few of
I
those in
fish,
southern
and
Louisiana too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But people are like, "Aren't you scared?" I'm like, "No, he doesn't want to eat pasty white dude. Like that's the last thing he wants to eat. Like he doesn't want me."
Well,
So
but if you're pulling a crappie back to the boat, I've seen
yeah,
3-footers
exactly.
literally walk
He,
on water.
he might want my bass or something, but yeah, he doesn't want me.
Yep, just like sharks. They want that fish. That's why you don't tie trout to your belt loop.
Yeah. When I go surf fishing, my buddies always give me a hard time because I usually catch and release, but I'll keep a few fish every once in a while, and I walk back to the truck and throw it in the cooler. I'm like, I'm not hanging this thing from my waist, man. Like you're crazy.
And don't do that, guys. And just
Yeah.
please don't do that. Please don't. Please don't do that. Hey man, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
Oh man, I just like to give a shout out to Heath Hipple, Bugs Fishing Lures. He's the guy that kind of got me started down this path of making lures. I was making lures before, but it was just a hobby, and Heath's been a huge help to me. It's Bugs, Buggs. He does some really cool stuff. He makes basically fly tying, but for like people that actually don't want to fly fish. So
I don't
they're
want
on
to
like jig heads and but they have beautiful fly patterns and rabbit fur and stuff, and they're really
nice.
really cool. So yeah,
Hair
shout out to Heath.
jigs. Hair
Yep,
jigs.
yep, and they're cool though. You should check them out for sure. Bugs Fishing Lures.
Okay. I'd also like to make a shout out to your partner.
Yeah, Brian in Michigan for sure. Absolutely, man. He's old school. He's funny because he's one of those guys that loves
Sorry
to
if I
talk on
lost
the
you.
phone. Oh, you got me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you back. I got you
Yeah,
back. I
so
hope you can
Brian's
hear me.
yeah, I got you. And Brian's old school. He likes to talk on the phone, and I'm kind of, even though I'm old, I'm a little newer school. I'd rather text, and he wears me out on the phone all the time. It's hilarious. So he's a talker. Crazy
I'm
Michigan
old
guy.
school too. I'm old school.
Well, I
too,
should hook you up with Brian. You guys can talk on the phone all day.
Yeah, we talk about Michigan all day long. I mean, I have so many great memories of that fantastic state. What a great place.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to make a shout out to you. This guy, I was an unknown quantity. I called him. He didn't know who the heck I was. He started sending me stuff and sending me more stuff. And thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Anytime, man. I'll send you some more. I feel bad I didn't send you the top secret free fall fry, man. That's my secret weapon.
Well,
so I'll send you some of those for sure.
It doesn't make you a bad guy.
Awesome, man.
But hey, you know what, guys? It's Wednesday. Down here in the South, the deep South, it's springtime. Get out there and go fishing. And you guys up there who are in between seasons, man, get out there for some pre-spawn bass. I love fishing this time of the year. The walleyes start moving this time of the year. Man, if I was still in Illinois, I'd be out there in that Illinois River looking for saugers. You can't keep me in the house, and I have 2 ex-wives to prove it. I have a great wife who actually supports me fishing. She knows when I come back from fishing, I'm always going to be tired, but I'm going to be in a good mood. So,
yeah, that's important, man.
Get out there, guys. Enjoy your life. You only get to do this once. There's only a couple apps of fish sitting there on the couch.
Yep.
And even though I'm a podcaster, I like you to sit on the couch and watch my podcast. I'm going to tell you, you're absolutely never going to catch
me. It's a night, man. You should have gone fishing all day today, right?
Yep. Well, hey, man, I'm going to end the podcast with you. I'd like to thank all the people who tuned into the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. I'd like to thank Bill Pennington for taking time out of his schedule to talk to us. And Bill, please stick around. I'm going to end the podcast with that. I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes after the podcast, Bill.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Take care.
You're very welcome.